Welcome to the Kindness Project, the podcast designed to share stories of kindness and share how kindness can make positive change in our world, one small act at a time. This time on the Kindness Project, Snore Fest 2019, Parables, and we have part one of our interview with Leon Logothetis, host of the Kindness Diaries.
How am I supposed to start? Am I supposed to say something funny? Supposed to say something witty? Am I just supposed to talk? Am I just...
Up to you, how do you want to start this one?
Well, I think I've started well enough, thank you very much.
Okay. Welcome, my friends, to...
Sleepy Town.
Right. I'll tell you one thing about podcasts. Now, I don't know, we're 80 episodes in now, so I don't know if you've got the memo, but I don't know if anybody sent you the email, but you're not meant to have a lot of silence, I think, on podcasts.
We leave it for dramatic effect.
Do you?
Yeah!
Oh, right, okay, that's what you're doing. I didn't realise...
No, this is the Kindness Project, not Sleepy Town. I feel like I have to clear that up.
Maybe we should start one called Sleepy Town. I don't know.
It's just snoring sound effects.
You know what? That would be quite soothing. Just imagine a podcast that was all about snoring and literally you just snored all the way through. Just welcome to... It would be like an insomniac's...
Like it's just someone snoring and underneath it it's a fact about how snoring can help you sleep over and over and over.
But you know what? I think snoring might be infectious. You know how when people yawn it's infectious?
Yeah.
Maybe like snoring would perform the same function. Let's not try it today.
We haven't even introduced ourselves.
But for a special episode 182, if we ever get there, we're going to have a snoring Kindness Project snoring special.
Episode 90, because like Cloud9 and stuff, I don't know.
Maybe. Anyway, this isn't Snore Fest 2019. This is the Kindness Project, and I am with a girl who makes me glow with pride. See what I did there? See what I did there? It's Charlotte Dames.
I hurt my hand. I'm Jumbo Man is so proud of his work. He's even got his laptop decorated.
I know! I like my new branding. You know what I need now? A Kindness Project laptop. Because I don't know if you've heard, we've got merch.
I know.
We don't mention the merch enough. You can buy a Kindness Project t-shirt. I'm thinking of getting myself a little Kindness Project polo shirt for my holiday.
We've both got Kindness Project shirts.
T-shirts. I'm thinking of getting a polo shirt for my holiday. I'm thinking of getting a Kindness Project Mel's mat. You can get one of those, can't you?
Yeah, I was thinking about seeing if I could go on in there and get stickers and get one for my phone.
Maybe. Phone covers we've got. You know, you can get a wide range of Kindness Project merch. And where can you find that?
On the website. Just on the website.
Just somewhere on the website. Just somewhere on the website you can find merch. And 100% of the money we raise from that merch goes to Charlotte. I mean charity. I mean, have you been pocketing the merch money or not?
Didn't even know we were getting merch money.
I don't know where it goes. I think Russell deals with it. So let me rephrase that. 100% of the merch money goes to Russell.
It goes somewhere.
It goes somewhere.
And you get a nice, lovely bit of merch.
Yeah, have a bit of Kindness Project merch. Yeah, that'd be good. Yeah, we'd like to see that. I need to check with our esteemed editor on whether we're getting any merch
if anyone's actually buying this.
Don't know. But people are listening in their thousands now, because I got an email over the weekend to tell us that we are the 17th happiest podcast in the world.
Whoa!
That's a bit amazing, isn't it? Is that amazing news or what?
Amazing news.
Our little...
That's our news segment done for the week.
Kindness news. We're brilliant. Job done. I love it. So we did get I don't know how...
We should just start a motivational quote segment every just like, you're wicked, you are.
Yeah. I don't know if you're wicked would be counted as a motivational quote, but... Maybe, what's your favourite motivational quote?
It's not a quote, it's a poem.
Go on and give us the poem. Have we got enough time for the poem?
That's kind of what I was hoping. I can't remember it. Fires in our soul, something. The poem's called 93% Stardust.
Okay, who's it by?
Nikita Gill.
Okay, well, I like Nikita Gill.
And the last line is just, we're all just stars that have human names, and it's a nice little poem that reminds us we're all made of the same things as stars are, and we're all brilliant in our own way.
I like the parable, right? So my one isn't a motivational quote either, it's a parable. A Native American, an old Native American with his son or with his grandson says, within each of us you have two wolves. One is love and kindness and happiness and optimism, and one is hate and anger and revenge and pessimism. And they're fighting all of the time. And the boy goes, who wins? Who wins? And the old wise man just looks and goes, the one you feed. That's amazing, isn't it? That's an amazing little story. I like that. So yeah.
What if you feed both of them? Who wins then?
But the reality is, we do, as humans, we do feed both of them all the time, don't we? But it's the one you try and feed the most, which is why.
What if you feed both of them equally?
Is it possible to do that? I don't think it is. There's always going to be, you'll have some occasions where you feed one more than the other. But the idea is that, why are we talking about feeding wolves all of a sudden? You're in a position where
to work at a zoo next
most people will have a preference. And if you see a wolf, don't feed it. They do bite. So we are officially the 17th most happy podcast on the planet.
Damn it, who's number 16?
Well, listen, I'm super competitive, so next year I want to get number 12, at least. I want to get in the top 10. Anyway.
We have been running a year.
Yeah, we have been running a year. We've been running, we are nearly 80 episodes in. This is episode number 79. And still all systems go. We've still got some amazing guests lined up. We've got people coming on to talk to us. And our guest today, which I'll tell you a little bit about later on, is particularly spectacular.
Wait, this is episode 80?
79.
We've still got done a year and a half worth of content. Like, I think 52 divided by 2 is 26.
Right.
52 plus 26 is 78.
Okay.
78 episodes is a year and a half, and we're on to episode 79.
Happy year and a half anniversary.
Happy year and a half.
Last week. Have we been doing this for a year and a half?
Yeah.
You know what as well? We've never ever missed a week. Ever. Ever.
We get close sometimes, but we do kind of close.
That's more down to Russell than us, but we've never ever missed a week.
We just randomly prompt us during the
Anyway,
week.
would you like... Yeah, he normally just pokes us with a big stick going, content please, content please.
The email is like, yes, I need this content by this date, otherwise, whoopsie daisy, no episodes.
Yeah, so normally he pokes me and I poke you. That's the way it works. Right.
Poking a bear.
Anyway, he pokes the bear, I poke the dog. Metaphorical. He pokes the gruffalo and I poke the rabbit. Anyway. So today's question of the podcast, in case you might want to know, is what's the world's best sandwich filling?
Just one?
You can have whatever you want in it.
Oh, well, I did make this really weird, epic sandwich.
Go on then, tell us about this epic sandwich.
Like ham and cheese and salsa and mayonnaise. I stuffed it all in the microwave.
What?
Oh, that's great.
So, sorry, ham, cheese, salsa, mayonnaise, microwaved, not toasted, not like
Toasted in the microwave.
Toasted there? You give it a double oven?
No, okay, so I toasted it, then I put the ham and the cheese in, and then I stuck it in the microwave, and then took it out and put the salsa and mayonnaise in.
Right, so you went for cold salsa and mayonnaise. That sounds like a nightmare. Not anything else. Anyway, I'm sure our esteemed listeners can come up with better answers than that. I don't know. See, I like to keep it simple. I like a cheese pickle sandwich. Okay. I like a bumper sandwich. So my favourite sandwich is actually a burger, right? So I had a burger once. So have I ever told you the story?
Which one?
The
You
one.
eat a lot of burgers in your
I've had too many
Still on
burgers.
lifetime for a lot of burgers.
I've had too many burgers actually. But this particular time was when I was in my early 20s and I went to a burger van. And he said to me, it was outside a pub in East London in a place called Beckton, right? So I'm in outside this burger van and the guy goes, do you want a burger? Yeah, I'll have a burger. Do you want 2 burgers? Yeah, 2 burgers. Do you want a piece of bacon? Yeah. Fried egg? 2 of them. Right. Do you want gherkins? Yes, please. Lettuce? Yes, please. Do you want a sausage? No worries. Bang that in there. And literally, the guy closed the lid on the burger thing. He couldn't close it. So I had to walk home, a little bit drunk, to be fair, balancing my burger as I go, right? As I go. And I got it in my house. I woke up in the morning having the burger eaten, enjoying it, but half of the egg down my shirt. It wasn't a particularly pleasant experience.
Very difficult to avoid getting.
They are eggs and mercy, aren't they? But the reality of it is,
Best sandwich ever had?
probably the best, most memorable sandwich I've ever had. It's a burger and a sandwich. We can cover up that one later. But I'm off bread at the minute. I'm not eating that much bread. So even though I've asked the question about sandwiches...
But we had bread pudding last night.
Oh, bread pudding is the exception. But I'm not having that many sandwiches because I'm trying to cut down my bread intake, which is a bit of an interesting one. If anybody from the sandwich promotion board is listening, I'm very sorry. Anyway,
I still love sandwiches, just not wraps.
You had a look of disdain on your face when you were talking about wraps.
You can't meat in wraps. It's gross.
No. How about a wrap in the microwave after you put some mayo and salsa and ham and cheese in?
Cold meat in wraps just doesn't work.
Okay, fair enough.
Even if the meat's not cold anymore, it's still cold meat if it's like that. It's just...
Fair enough. I'll take your word for it. So, where can people get in touch with us?
The internet.
Just Google us. We're all over the shop. We're on the kindnessproject.co.uk, on Twitter at HollowKindness, on Facebook under the Kindness Project. You can find us all over the show. So please do. I think we're on Instagram now as well.
We've been on Instagram the entire time.
I don't check Instagram that much.
I do.
And
just get one tiny post every Thursday.
And don't forget we sell merch.
Do we?
Yeah.
Oh, I forgot.
So that's it. Should we get on with the show?
Sure, go on then.
So this week we've got a very special guest. We've got Leon Logothetis. Now Leon Logothetis, you might know because he's got a Netflix show.
Oh, this dude.
So you were there on the interview when we interviewed. It was ages ago. We interviewed him. He was in New York and we were in this office. Yeah, we were in the office. And Leon is an incredibly kind guy. He's got a couple of Netflix documentaries called The Kindness Diaries, where basically he travels around the world being amazingly kind. And he was
relying on the kindness of strangers.
Well, he does this thing where he relies on the kindness of strangers, and when they're kind to him, he finds people that he can help where he can repay that kindness. So we talk about that in the interview, but we also talk about his new book, Be More Kind. Would you like to hear the interview?
I mean, I already know what the interview's about for once, but yeah.
Hi Leon, how are you?
I'm good, how are you?
Yeah, I'm doing all right actually. Are you doing all right, Charlotte?
Yeah, I'm actually here for one of these interviews for once.
Yeah, Charlotte's normally at school when we do these interviews, so she never gets involved. But normally when we do transatlantic ones, because of the time difference,
I can pop on and have a little chat.
Yeah, have a little chat.
Have a chin wag. Have a good chin
get
wag.
Involved. I mean, I was thinking of ending it because Leon's a Liverpool fan, and do you know what I mean? They're just too smug nowadays. They're just too smug to speak to. But
you gotta do what you gotta do.
Yeah, because he's a lovely guy and he does loads of good stuff. We thought we'd have a chat with him. So, Leon, people will have heard of you from your Netflix work and your book, but just for those in our audience who haven't heard of you, can you tell us a little bit about you?
Sure. So basically, I used to be a broker in the city of London.
Yeah.
And then Rafa Benitez called me up and said, "Do you want to become my main striker?" And I said yes, and I scored 197 goals in 115 games.
Oh, that was good. That was good. Yeah, was that in your own imagination? Yeah.
It was. I used to be a broker, and I found myself to be, really quite disconnected and depressed, and sitting behind this desk, not really living my own life.
Yeah.
And I stumbled across the movie The Motorcycle Diaries, which is a romanticized version of Che Guevara traveling around South America on kindness. And there was something really beautiful about that movie that really touched my heart in a very profound way. And I ended up, to cut a long story short, quitting my job and started to travel around the world relying on kindness.
Okay.
And that's kind of like the short version of how I ended up doing what I do.
And how did you make that transition? Because I'm sure people listening to the podcast would be thinking about making their life more kind, but are in a pretty set routine where part of the challenge is lack of time. So how did you? I mean, it's quite a bold move to do that, right? What was the small steps that you took towards that?
Well, it was kind of a process.
Okay.
So it was an accumulation of stuff that got me to the point where I quit my job.
Yeah.
I'd say that the thing that pushed me the most was pain. I was in a lot of, on the outside I had everything, but on the inside I had, a lot of emotional pain, and I couldn't take living in that way anymore.
Yeah.
I couldn't take sitting behind that desk and kind of not being connected to people, not living my greatest life.
Okay.
Yeah.
The pain pushed me to quit.
Okay. And day one after quitting, what did you do?
I stayed in bed.
Right.
I was like, oh yes, this is good. But no, ultimately I ended up, one of the first things I did was I hitchhiked from Times Square to the Hollywood sign.
Okay.
With very little money, relying on the kindness of strangers, kind of connecting with other people.
Yeah.
This was pre you doing the documentary, wasn't it? This was without being filmed, without doing anything like that.
No. Basically, I did a show that was filmed.
Okay.
The Kindness Diaries was done in 2013.
Yeah.
So by that stage, I was living in Los Angeles.
Okay. Fair enough. And talk to me a little bit about your new book, because I know it came out today in the States, or is it today worldwide?
Yes, it's called Go Be Kind.
Yeah.
And basically, they are adventures in kindness.
Okay.
So you get to go out into the world and spread kindness and learn what kindness really truly means, and learn how to kind of feel kindness. Like, for example, one of the adventures is you have to find a kindness buddy. So you two should be your kindness buddies.
She's right here. Exactly. She's my one. Yeah.
Okay, and you find a kindness buddy, and you end up doing all the 28 adventures together.
Okay.
And kind of like an accountability partner.
I like it.
And the main aim of the journal is to change someone's life by simply being kind.
Yeah.
That's kind of like the last adventure.
Okay, so I've read the book because your publisher sent me a copy so I could prepare for this interview. And what I really liked is its interactive nature, right? It's written like a book that you can get involved with actively. Was that an intentional decision?
Yeah, absolutely. I wanted people to kind of, it's not just a book. I wanted kids to be able to read it and work on it. I wanted adults to be able to do it.
Yeah.
Because to me, kindness is universal.
Yeah.
And it's part of who we are, whether you're 8 or 100.
Do you think kids get kindness just more fundamentally than adults? Do you think it's trained out of adults to be kind?
I think the kids are definitely more connected to it.
Okay.
And it is, in some ways, kind of society takes it away from us to a certain degree. We have to kind of unlearn what society tells us.
Yeah. It's interesting. I don't know when cynicism became particularly popular, but I don't think. I mean, maybe we're just sort of unashamed optimists. But I think that's the way that I choose to live, and it seems to work for us. So that's good. Now, I know that a lot of elements of the book aren't only about being kind to others, but also about being kind to yourself. What do you think the secret is to achieving that?
I think the answer to be kind to yourself is simply to be gentle.
Yeah.
We wouldn't let other people treat us the way we treat ourselves.
Yeah, it's interesting.
It's so interesting because I just did an Instagram live, and I'm not a very good Instagram liver, and I was promoting the book, and I was like telling everyone, oh my god, I'm so terrible at Instagram live. You should learn to be kind to yourself. And I was like, oh my god, you're absolutely right. Here I am promoting a book about kindness, and I'm beating myself up about being a bad Instagram liver.
Yeah.
So we need to be gentle.
Yeah, it's interesting as well, because I think there's a perception that we need to be perfect, and the reality is everybody understands when you're not. Do you know what I mean? Everybody accommodates you in whatever way you do. What do you think, Charlotte?
Because people should be accommodating, because no one's perfect, and if you're perfect, you wouldn't be on this world, because clearly you have to have some kind of, I know it's kind of mean to say, you have to have some kind of flaw, because no one is made perfect.
But everybody's flawed, aren't they?
Yeah, exactly.
Everybody's flawed. Yeah, everybody's flawed.
We are perfectly imperfect.
Absolutely. And I think those imperfections make
they make you individual. If we were all perfect, we'd all be the same, and it'd be quite a boring world.
And I know. I mean, I've got a confession to make. So I've watched the first series of your show, but I'm yet to get the second one, and I'm sort of glad that my car is more reliable than your motorbike, to be honest, because I don't know if I could handle it, to be frank. But I know your show's always involved quite a lot of travel, and I'm a great believer. I don't know if you are, Charlotte, that travel certainly broadens the mind, because you get the opportunity to speak to all sorts of different people. But what has travel taught you about kindness?
That's a great question. I mean, ultimately, travel has taught me that we're all the same.
Yeah.
Simply want to be seen, we simply want to be heard, and we want to be loved.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter what colour you are, and it doesn't matter what religion you are. At base, we're the same.
Yeah.
And kindness is one of the most beautiful ways to make someone feel seen.
Yeah.
So it is like the universal language.
Yeah.
It is a language that we all understand. And it's a shame that most of us have forgotten how to speak it.
Tell me what you mean by that.
We've forgotten to come from our hearts.
Okay.
We come from our heads.
Yeah.
We come from being connected kind of with our phones, yet we're not really connected.
Yeah.
True connection comes from the heart. True connection comes from one human being to another human being, or from one human being to nature.
Yeah.
And I know this is a cliche, but we're all one. I mean, that's the reality. We are. Okay. We're connected, yet we feel so disconnected.
Yeah. So I mean, it's about being empathetic, isn't it? And to a certain extent, it's about listening more and talking less, I think, is the key. Have you... there's a bit in your book that I really enjoyed about when you talked about your teacher, and your teacher inspired you to be kind. What other inspirations of kindness have been in your life? What, apart from your teacher, who else has been your kindness inspirations?
A lot of the journeys, a lot of my travels have inspired me to be kind.
Yeah.
Because you go out into the world and you meet people and you get touched by their hearts.
Yeah.
And you come home and you realise that there's an ocean of goodness out there.
Yeah.
Yes, there's some bad stuff. I get it.
Yeah.
But the ocean of goodness is far greater than the bad.
Yeah. So that was it.
Yeah.
Well, I enjoyed that interview, didn't you?
Yeah, I did. I laughed.
Yeah, good. Good.
I think I'd laugh. It was so long ago.
I forgot. Yeah. Should we get on with the show?
Yeah, go on then. 'Tis the end.
Did you have to pick up the podcast mic and do that or not?
It's my child now.
The podcast mic is my baby.
You sound like the king of Madagascar.
The King of Madagascar.
Yeah, King
Who voices King Julian of Madagascar? I don't know either. But yeah. So right. Should we get on with the show or not? So the end of the show is never really the end, because the end is actually the beginning of last week's question of the podcast. And last week's question of the podcast, I've just deleted from my Word document, so I don't know what I'm going to do. Let me try and open it again. Can you just sing "I Like to Move It" a bit more, just to entertain a...
Move it. You like to move it. We like to move it.
I've just found it. Right, okay, so let me have a look. I don't think I've deleted it actually. I think I've pressed undo and found it again. You know, some people say our podcast is a bit shambolic. This is one of the...
We're not denying it.
This is one of the times when that's absolutely true.
Since when have we ever denied it?
Okay, so... last week's question of the podcast was, if you were to open a shop with a pun-based name, what would you call it and what would it sell? And we got a combination of answers that were other shops that were pun-based and answers that told us what, like, answered the actual question. So Russell Dames, esteemed editor, the man so silent he's now popped up in an actual podcast. Russ said, I saw a good one the other day floating on the web. How'd you float on the web? A white van man called Jean-Claude Van Man. Do you get that? No, you don't.
The floating bit you surf on the web so you can float on the web.
Yeah. Glenn May shared one, but I'm not sharing it because it's very, very rude. Next, we've got Roberta White, friend of the show, said paint shop, have brush will travel, hairdressers, top crop, sewing shop, pins and needles. Then Mandy Medlock's come in and said there's a florist at a crematorium called Heaven Scent, as in SCENT. What else have we got? Lucy Patrick said a pub called Pickled. John Cook said I'd have a patisserie or a bakery and call it Cookies, or a record shop under a railway bridge called Tracks. A couple of real life ones I've come across. A clothes shop in Barking Road called Mr. T. And when I saw Bill Bailey last year, he mentioned a record shop, unfortunately called The Vinyl Solution. Not good. Justin Gaffney said he'd have a bespoke micro distillery for gin called Moonshine. And then
Stop clicking through the
Maidson Macmillan just sent us a heart. I don't know why. Roger Norrington said the ironing shop near Dagenham East Station called Hot Pants always amuses me. Then we got into a bit of a Twitter conversation about chip shops and kebab shops. And Tom Morris probably had my favourite one, Jason Donna Van.
I don't know who that is.
Jason Donovan?
No.
Do you know who Kylie Minogue is?
Yeah.
So he was an Australian singer who was famous for a duet with Kylie Minogue. Richard Ellis said he's got a chip shop near him called the Codfather. Darren Cook had three: the Frying Place, the Codfather, and Oh My Cod. Charlie Goodman had a cuddly toy sale shop called Barely Trading. It's quite clever. And apparently there's a hairdresser in Beckenham called Cutting Remarks. Some more fish and chip shops. Codraphenia, Battered Sea Cod's Home, assault and battered, and new cod on the block. And
I saw a dry cleaners name that always makes me laugh. I don't even know if it's a pun, it just makes me laugh. And it's called Creases.
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 And Carl Melvin said he'd open a anti-knit shampoo store called Lyceland. And that's it for this week. That's all our answers. Please feel free to answer this week's question, what's the world's greatest sandwich filling? And on that particular cheerful note, as we are the world's 17th happiest podcast, bye.
Are we really that happy though?
Bye.
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 Bye.